Hopefully Hour, and today I thought I would do a quick review of our very recent and rather beautiful rail track secluded city. So a couple of things on the model. When I went to tidy up all the pipe pieces, you know how you do, a few things I noticed. There were these pillars that I hadn't put in, so those are now in. There was some extra lights, which you can see there and here. I couldn't find the instruction of where to put those in, so this is where I put mine, by that back porch. There were also a few tools and things like that left over. Didn't want to waste them, so I just popped them here and there. A newspaper article or a newspaper sheet I just put on underneath the stairs at the back here. So I kind of used the bits and pieces up really so that they were used. Alright, so it's daylight, so this isn't gonna show too well, but I did do I've just mended this too. This door keeps falling out. That's just a pain in the butt, but I'll get to that again. Okay, so anyway, pros and cons. Let's start with the pros, as I normally do. The first one, it really is beautiful. I mean, it is, even though I damaged it in places, I wish I'd painted the edges, I really do. But overall, I think it is beautiful. I'd like to say I'd get to doing the edges, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll want to sit there for a few evenings going over them. Okay, not quite sure where I was, to be honest with you, but I did mend that door. Anyway, yeah, I think, where was I at? The little bits and how I'm gonna have to rewind this back. Okay, so sorry about that. So yeah, so it's a beautiful and very detailed model, which I really do like. I mean, it is very similar to the Holo City one that we did, except it obviously has the train right in the middle there, which does make quite the difference, but it is still a very similar build with lots of parts. Okay, the second is one of the nice things on here, particularly on these small parts, is at the beginning of a section, like coming up here, we have one going over the next few pages. It gives the whole pick list of everything you're going to need to build those three things. So you can just go into your boards, your inventory, you know, your little pouches, and you can just pick everything up. And you have that. The other nice thing with this is that at the beginning, the very first step it does, it gets you to do all the really, let's get to that stage, all the repetitive stuff. So making the 10 million boxes, 10 million scrolls, some books, and some more boxes. I mean, literally, okay, maybe not 10 million, but a lot of, on all the different types, and it gets you to do them. So later when you're putting them in, all you're doing is picking a couple here and there. I will say that they don't tell you on a lot of it how many of those newspaper rolls, the scrolls that you've done, will go in each part. It is very much a guess. I did have some over, but that was a beside the point. But generally, like I say, I love the fact that they give the pick list. I think that's really awesome. Number three, I think our little train here is incredibly detailed. If you saw the build, a bit from that side rather than moving it, if you saw the build, you know it is very detailed. It's got a lot to it. It does move, it comes out, the rail comes out from underneath it also, so you can do this, so that's kind of cool. I can see me losing that, but it's, well, probably not where it's going to go, but you can see it's very detailed, it's got a lot to it, and I think it is rather delightful. So that was beautiful. I mean, it took a day and a half on video time to do the train, and I think for the detail of it, that was pretty good actually. And a lot of pieces were very frail, but I'll go into that later. Number four, as you can see, I mean, and you see better from the short and the end of day 16 video, where it was darker in my house when I was trying to get it finished for the evening. It does really, train's gone right back, it does really light up very well. It looks beautiful. This light here reflects nice on the train. It would have been nice to have had one in the train, but I think we're expecting too much on that one. The clock tower shines beautifully as well. Just seeing if that was the dog's back, but I don't think it is. And each of the rooms, there's only one dark room, which is down here in the train station. And maybe that makes sense. Maybe they don't have trains going at night, so they don't need lights on in there. There you go. That could be a theory. That's what I'm going with. Number 5, the instructions were pretty detailed. They're colourful, as you can see, very colourful actually. And a lot of them do have like writing underneath as well to give you tidbits, suggestions. I mean, well, I turned to a page which doesn't have any. But there was, you know, like even here. Right, out of the way, model. Come on. Move you over here. And you can see down here like instructions and guidance as well. I did think it was really odd that for the wires from the train station to that you had to take a whole brand new light bulb with all the wires and use that wire, cut it off that bulb. What a waste. It felt like a waste. It almost would have been better to, I guess what I could have done was use that bulb in this train station under here, run that wire to the corner, cut it, joined it with the others, and then ran it down, in which case then I would have had a very small amount of wire used, just that section, and then it still would have acted the same as an extension. Not even sure that makes any sense to you, but I could have done that, and that would have worked. Should have done that, rather than cutting it right at the end of the bulb, in which case I can't do anything with that anymore. Anyway, that was my main pluses on this mold. And of course, where there's pluses, there's always going to be a few negatives, isn't there? Can't have a review without knowing both ways. And then I will give you my final thoughts at the end as well, you know, whether I feel it's worth it, or if I feel it's an absolute pitter. I've lost this now too. Man, things keep falling off for me. Okay, so on the negative side, firstly, some of the instructions are very sketchy in places, like making the shop windows. I really struggled with making these and how to put them together. It was probably more complicated than it needed to be, and it just totally confused me. Wasn't happy about that. Also, some of the pieces, it wasn't clear where they go. So again, there was a little bit of guesswork going on from quite a few bits and bobs really as to what they mean. I mean, overall I think the instructions were good, don't get me wrong. I like the parts and things like that, but wow, some of them were so sketchy. I mean, I was the one who messed up the clock tower, so I can't say that, but some of them were just generally sketchy. It doesn't tell you, for instance, that this one, you push it down into it so it hits the board at the bottom. Didn't tell you to do that. This one, you don't do that on. This one just sits on top. I mean, it just would have been nice to have known things like that. Anyway, the second is there's very few spare parts. You're going to break something, and trust me, I broke a lot. You are not going to have spare parts for it, so it is a matter of gluing things back together. There's literally just a handful, I mean probably less than that, of spare parts in reality, maybe 4 or 5 pieces, and none of them are like what I would consider overly important ones, and things, you know, like where you've got the small pieces that seem to break very easily. None of those were spares, and I did break a lot. I mean, the clock tower was my fault, totally my fault. But like I say, the stargazer was a disaster. I should have bore the holes out, they were too tight, and I didn't. There were no spare parts for it whatsoever. So I made the best of it, and to be honest with you, I'm really happy with how the stargazer turned out. I think that blue light looks wonderful actually. So my train keeps going backwards now. I've moved it. It's like, oh yeah, I can move. Anyway, so I think it ended up looking lovely, but it broke in so many pieces. That base was small, which takes me on to the third point. A lot of the wood pieces are very brittle. The Stargazer was an example. The clock tower, a lot of that was very brittle. One of these that I didn't put on channel because I only just saw them, that broke immediately. Some of the green ones broke coming out of the form, and there were just a lot of breaks in this. Nothing that couldn't be mended, but it would have been, I shouldn't have had to have needed to mend them. So a lot of them are very like brittle. Maybe they're a bit old wood, they've been sat around, they've got wet or something and then dried out. I mean, anything's possible. I have no idea what makes wood brittle. I mean, maybe I should. Yeah, there's a learning curve. Oh gosh, don't do that to me. I'll be on YouTube looking up all the reasons why wood goes brittle. You really don't want that sort of knowledge from me. I'll go on forever. Anyway, so yes, so some of the parts are brittle. Be careful of them. They do break. This is also come off up here, so this little fencing thing, I need to sort that out too. And it's easy to break, which is very unfortunate. Unfortunately, I didn't get a dust cover. Number 4, the clock tower itself, this build was actually really difficult. I don't think the instructions were particularly clear. I think it was in too tight of a fit for the pillars and the edges of the faces to go through the middle part there and get it as far down as it is. Apart from the fact that I messed it up too, which I definitely did, because I put my clock faces on and I put my hands of the clock on before I realised that this was having to go past them, and it was such a tight fit it ripped a lot of the paper off of the pillars, and that was without the clock face worry. What I should have done is this is all one piece, but what I should have done was cut it into 2 sections. So like this would be a section, for instance, and then at the back would be another one, and just pop them on like that, just wrapped it around, and that would have been much more sensible, and it would have saved the damage that I had to the paper posts and the clocks and the hands. So I mean, those were my fault, but nevertheless it was an incredibly tight fit. I don't think the instructions were particularly clear on how to make this and what was required, but that doesn't excuse the fact it was me who messed it up, just saying. But nevertheless, number 5, there are, if you're thinking of making this, lots of small parts. I mean, there are a lot, so get your eyes working and things like that. There's just a lot of detail to it. Some of it I've needed magnifying glass for, not much, but occasionally, and there just is an awful lot of very small details, which is also nice. There are some crafting to be done, like there's a few flowers to make. Nothing major, actually. The crafting was probably very modest in comparison to what I've seen. You have to make some plants, you make your gift boxes, you make some bags. What else do you do on this? You make some cakes, you do your scrolls, and you make some coffee. They're all quite straightforward. Not much coffee. They're not big coffee drinkers here. You make those stools as well, and some chairs and things like that. Vending machine, benches. So lots of very small parts. Some of them more crafty than others. But generally it wasn't too bad as far as crafting goes, but small parts, yeah, just be aware that there are a lot of them, and we did knock all those out, and I think they took what, 9-10 days just to get those out before we even started really on the main build. So there are a lot, and of course you don't see them in detail unless you really look, but fortunately with this build, and I will give it that, you can see into all of the rooms if you look. So you really have to look from different angles in order to see inside. Some builds you can't even see what's in there, it's just gets straight covered, but I'm pretty certain from what I've seen is the majority of it I can see. Okay, so that is my pros and cons. Now what I'm going to do is what my final thoughts are on this build. Okay, so final thoughts. Some of this I mean, has already started to come undue. So I wish now, particularly for this build, that I'd had a dust cover. I think it's going to get damaged. I mean, we're already seeing things moving and getting damaged and things like that. That's like loose. So considering I use B7000 for some of it, but I also use wood glue, it should really have taken very well. Shouldn't be having any problems with things wobbling. But I wish I'd got a desk cover with it to protect it, not just to keep dust off it, although that's always a nice thing, but mainly to protect it, because it is detailed. The train will come out, so it could be something where if you've got children around, that they could see that as a great plaything, or a puppy, come to that. I mean, even though she is good, put temptation there, and I'm sure she won't be so much. Anyway, overall, I'm really happy with the build. Not necessarily with the clock tower, although the end result was okay, but I think I totally messed that up. That was, like I say, it was on me. But it was also problematic on the build instructions too. And like I say, I just should have cut the wood instead and stuck it together in 2 halves, and that would have been a lot neater. It would have saved going down these, pushing like a very tight square piece down these pillars, and also the clock face, which are all loose, by the way. So it was a little bit of a nightmare, but overall I do think it looks absolutely fantastic. I love the lights on here. I think the light over the train particularly really helps make the train stand out. I think there are enough lights here. If I'd done what I was suggesting in the cons and put a light down here, making use of that wire that we was about to cut, would have been an extra light down there. Just saying. But I'm guessing the trains don't run at night, and that's why they don't need a light in the thing. Although it has 2 wooden lamp stands on there, so I don't know. Lampposts, that's the word. I'm trying to think of the word. Anyway, then I think that's it really. Like I say, overall I'm really happy with it. I need to re-glue a few things. They're already falling apart. I did have some spare parts over, whether I was meant to or not, I have no idea. But I do have some, and that's is where it is. But yeah, overall I've been very happy with the build. I think it looks absolutely divine. You see I put a few extra parcels down there as well that I found. Found some more newspaper things, I popped those there, and there were quite a few bits over. I put more tools in over here into the boxes and things like that, so I found a few bits over. But remember the other build, the Holo one, didn't they have pretty much stuff all on here as well? And this one doesn't. This is quite sparse on the little walkways. Even the walkway down here, they had, I think, a cat on the Holo one. So this is all quite sparse. Even the sides down here on here are all quite sparse really in comparison, but nevertheless I still love it. Wish I'd got a dust cover. That's my last thought on it. Alright, take it easy. Bye bye now. Thank you for joining. Oh yeah, thank you for joining. If you've got any comments, please do leave them. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already. I do reviews on the majority of models that I've done on channel in the last several months now. I am going gradually back on ones that I've done in the past, where the build may or may not have been on the channel, just to give my thoughts and opinions as I can remember them. Some might be years old, and I definitely haven't been running the channel that long. So alrighty, anyway, take care of you. Bye bye now guys. Bye.